It has been a couple of weeks since I saw the Aquaman movie, and I still have the excitement from the movie inside of me. It was like a Pirates of the Caribbean treasure hunt plus underwater Star Wars all rolled up into one with a dash of comic books. It was pretty awesome. So of course I need my Aquaman fix, and there's no better way to get it than to play the only console game with Aquaman as the starring role. Aquaman Battle for Atlantis. But one question remains. Will it be as entertaining an adventure as the movie was? Well, I don't know. I guess we'll see. Oh my god, how am I going to get through this one? I don't even know where to start with this review. I'm trying to find words. You may remember I said this about Mortal Kombat Special Forces. I did it. I finally did it. I found the worst video game I have ever played. Well, I found it. The game that dethrones Mortal Kombat Special Forces as the worst game I have ever played, and at the same time elevates that title to another level. You might think I'm over-exaggerating, but I spent almost 7 hours of extreme boredom and frustration playing through this game from beginning to end in one sitting. Never again. Several times I thought to myself, man, is this even worth the views? Should I just cancel this review? It was torture. It was torture. But I pushed through, I persevered somehow, and I beat the game. Probably still not worth it in the end, but so be it. And there were several instances in this game where I found myself dozing off. Fuck. Oh my god, it's so boring. And now that we've established it's a terrible game, who is responsible for this travesty? Lucky Chicken Games. Never heard of Lucky Chicken Games? Well, they've created such classics such as Tonka Rescue Patrol and The Land Before Time arcade. Was there no other developer available at all in the world? Aquaman Battle for Atlantis tells the story of an Atlantis under siege by evil forces. If you know anything about Aquaman, you'll find absolutely no surprises in the storyline at all here. Let's be real, most Aquaman produced materials all tell the same damn story over and over. Atlantis is in danger, Black Manta is trying to hunt down and kill Aquaman, or trying to steal the treasure from Atlantis. Then it turns out he's just a thug hired by Ocean Master, who tries to claim the throne of Atlantis as his own, while attempting to turn the other underwater kingdoms against it. The live-action movie did it, the animated movie did it, the comics did it, and the game also does it. Same story. And did you notice these ugly-ass comic book panels? Throughout the entire game, this is how the story is told. There is no voice acting, there is no cinematic cutscenes, nothing. Just these ugly panels with text and still images with the same music over and over again. It's so boring. I understand that maybe they were trying to recreate the comic book feel, but we're not reading a comic book. We're playing a video game. It's not engaging, it's not creative, it's lazy. No effort whatsoever. And Aquaman's already had it rough over the years, often being considered a joke superhero. a dude that talks to fish. Well, this game does him no justice, since he quite literally does talk to fish, as if they were his little undersea friends. With modern DC Comics games such as the Arkham series and the Injustice games having such quality story, going back and playing this game, it's embarrassing. And the best way to describe the gameplay in Battle for Atlantis, just imagine the most boring underwater level you can think of. Multiply that to 21 levels of endless repetition, adding up to about 6 to 7 hours depending on how many times you die. Add in awful controls, incredible difficulty spikes out of nowhere with no checkpoints, then put everything in slow motion. That is the Aquaman Battle for Atlantis experience. And there's barely any variety to this game. All of the environments are ugly, dark, underwater, very linear segments, swimming slowly through Atlantis, other underwater structures. You go to some fiery areas in some parts, but overall, everything is dull, boring to look at, bland. Again, with very little effort put into the game overall. And these 21 levels all feel the same too. There's a compass in the corner that tells you where to swim, and you have a set number of goals per level. You either have to rescue a certain amount of civilians, you have to kill a certain amount of enemies before the level ends, you have to disable bombs or something similar, or you have to protect a building. Rinse and repeat for 21 levels. But to break the repetition, there's also some levels where you take control of an underwater sub in Star Wars-like battles. These are the moments I can say the game gets the closest to excitement. But rest assured, that excitement is still extremely far away. Sure, you can be involved in underwater dogfights against a giant sub or a giant dragon, but is it fun? No, it's not. At all. You remember how awesome it was the first time you played Star Fox 64, and you had your first epic battle against the Star Wolf team. Well, take that and strip away everything that made that fun, and put it all underwater. These segments in Aquaman are all extremely easy, and couldn't be any more basic than they are. You move around with the joystick, there's a laser button, there's a missile button. Again, no effort whatsoever. All the enemies look the same too, up until you fight Black Manta. Every enemy looks like Black Manta underwater tech pirates. Then there's a segment of the game where you're going after Lava Lord, and all the enemies you fight look like lava trolls. And then after Ocean Master is revealed as the true villain, you spend the rest of the game fighting enemies that all look like Ocean Master monsters. And everyone knows the most important aspect of a video game is the gameplay. Some games that look ugly can play really well. Otherwise, some games that look really pretty can play like crap. While Aquaman Battle for Atlantis somehow manages not just to look and feel ugly, but it plays even uglier. There really is no strategy involved when it comes to the fighting mechanics. X and Y kick, A punches, B blocks, and there's different combos you can do that are available for you to look at in the pause menu, but here's the thing, none of these matter, since most of these early battles can be won by just mashing on the A button. And to make things even easier, Aquaman could call upon sea creatures with tokens you find throughout the level, usually about 3 or 4 times depending on the stage you're on, which always results in one-hit kills. There is no balance at all when it comes to the game's difficulty. For the first couple of levels, it's insanely easy. Then out of nowhere, there's enormous spikes in the difficulty. Some levels are extremely short, but then other levels take forever, sending wave after wave of enemies at Aquaman. And the awful controls do nothing to help you. One mission in particular was straight from the depths of hell, and it almost drove me to madness. You need to disable 6 generators to gain access to Black Manta's sub, but each generator is guarded by a ton of henchmen that surround you, and Aquaman is as agile as a turd floating in the ocean. So self-defense is almost impossible. Any death in the level requires you to start from the beginning, since there are no checkpoints within these missions. Again? done. I might cancel this review. And near the end of the game, the waves of enemies coming at you get longer and longer, and they start to do nothing but block constantly and surround you from all sides. The only thing to do is to mash every button on your controller, and hope you can get lucky and take them out before they take you out, and hope that one of them also drops health, which are the yellow pickups. But most of the pickups that enemies drop in the game are blue and purple, which go towards your combo and your blocking gauge instead of health, which are both completely useless anyways. The second half of the game becomes a test of frustration and repetition, over and over, repeating long segments from the beginning after defeating 20 enemies at a time and then running out of health. And the few boss battles in the game, I don't even know how to describe. Just watch how absolutely broken they are. But here's the final battle in the game against Ocean Master. It pretends at first to be just as easy, and it takes a while to get his health down, but then suddenly he shoots a laser from his trident that's extremely difficult to block in time or dodge. It takes away half of your health with one hit. 2 hits and it kills you, at full health. Since the game is broken and it knows it, it went for the cheap route to try to defeat you. So the best strategy here is to just mash the buttons and hope he doesn't get a chance to hit you. And the ending is just as shitty as all the other cutscenes, just garbage looking comic book panels. I don't even know what else to say about this game. I feel like anything I say is an understatement and doesn't accurately represent how truly awful of a game this is. Oh, I almost forgot one thing. If you somehow generate enough patience and insanity to beat this game, you can unlock the classic Aquaman costume. Okay, cool, but there's really nothing you could do with it except play through this garbage again. And why would you want to do that? And if you go through a second time and beat it with the classic Aquaman costume equipped, you also unlock Black Manta and Tempest costumes. The game wants you to play through the entire thing from beginning to end twice to unlock 3 total skins. Once is too much. If for some reason you're curious how you can snag a copy of the game, it's available on the original Xbox, it was available on the GameCube, it was so badly reviewed and sold so horribly that they just completely canned the PS2 version. And now commands these prices. This is an absolute crime. This should be illegal. Please, for the love of God, I beg of you. If this review for some reason has sparked your curiosity, and you want to dip your toes into trying this game, I beg of you, please don't. Just watch the review, take my advice, and stay away from it. I do not want to be the reason someone goes through the amount of suffering that I did. Aquaman Battle for Atlantis really does belong in the deepest, darkest portions of the shitty game ocean. I will never play it again. In fact, if you want a good Aquaman game, just boot up Injustice 2, set up a fight between Aquaman and Black Manta, and then do a rematch over and over and over. It's a far better experience.
Sleep with the fishes.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button with all of your strength. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss any new content. You can follow me on social media or go into my community tab for updates. And for as little as $1 a month, you can support the channel directly on Patreon. This is Fabian, I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.